Hi everyone, I'm Hannah and today we're going to explore some handstands. So these are aerial yoga handstands and they're really good for showing the right positioning that your body needs to be in to execute a handstand off of the hammock. So we're going to start with our hammock at hip height, maybe a little bit higher. The higher you are today, the easier it will be. The lower you are, the more you're going to need to use your upper body strength to push up into that handstand. So if you're a little bit higher, it's probably a good place to start for today. So we're going to begin with our hands in a wrap. So bringing our hands around the front, through the middle, and bringing our hands onto the hammock and just rolling it all the way down into a little wrap. I'm going to bring our feet about hip width apart. Standing tall, take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale it out through the mouth and release all the way forward. So we're just going to stretch out our shoulders because we're going to go into a few little handstand positions today. We're just going to stretch our shoulders and our sides out first. So just sway from side to side here. And forgive my mane of a hair. So just stretching it out, like pulling all the way one way and stretching out with that top hand, coming all the way to the other and stretching out with the other hand. A few more breaths here. We're going to come to the middle and slowly roll one vertebrae at a time all the way back up. Make this a really slow motion and have your head as the last thing that comes up. So we're going to add in a few cat-cows. So keeping that wrist lock on, we're going to roll all the way down. And you can bend at your elbows here. Dip your chest down towards the earth. And then roll your spine up, curve that spine up into your cat, stretching out the arms in front of you. So with your breath, just roll it through whatever your body may need. You might want to make a few little side stretches, just really getting into our obliques. Up to you. A few more breaths here. All the way through. And let's slowly roll it all the way back up. So that's a really nice one. So we're going to get to the front of our hammock this time. And just bring our hammock just around our body with our thumbs in the front to the back of the hammock, pushing in. From here, we can bring our shoulders just a little bit further back and push into the hammock, grabbing down a little bit further behind us. So the further down that you grab, the more of a stretch it's going to be for your shoulders. So you might just start up here and then you realize you want to pull your arms down a little bit further and pulling up. So wherever you find yourself, bring your feet about hip width apart. Inhale and exhale it, stretch it over to the side. Ooh, yeah. So we're not hunching forward. We're really kind of trying to keep ourselves as if our whole body is in between two panes of glass. So we're just dipping over to the side, keeping our eyes level or to the ceiling. Inhale, come up. And exhale, release to the other side. Oh yeah, feeling that stretch. Inhale, come up. One more time either side. All the way over. Oh, your hand might get stuck. Really feeling that stretch. Maybe you want to inch your fingers a little bit further in on either side, intensifying that stretch. All the way back up. And last one, over to the other side. Oh yeah, really stretching that out. Really nice. Okay, so we're gonna get straight into a downward dog stretch. One of our handstands that we are gonna do is from a downward dog. So we'll just go through that motion first before we get into the full handstand part of it. So bringing our fabric to the front of our hips, pushing down, rolling our body all the way down. You can bend your knees here, hands to the earth, and step it out. So we're making sure that the fabric is underneath our hip bones here.
And you can pedal it out in a downward dog if that feels good for you. Just a few breaths here. Pushing our sit bones up to the earth, to the sky, sorry. A few more breaths here. We're trying to bring our chest to our thighs, spreading out our fingertips. And let's bring our knees into a little bit of a crouch, so into a ball here. You can bring your hands underneath your shoulders or all the way out in front of you. And we'll just sway from side to side here. So you can push in with whatever straight arm, so the opposite arm from the way that you're swaying, to help yourself sway a little bit more. Bring yourself to stillness. I'm going to bring our legs nice and wide into a straddle. Bend our knees behind us and crochet our ankles so that they're around the fabric. So from here we're going to walk ourselves forward. Inhale and exhale, release. So this is another one of our shoulder stretches, our pec stretch. So let's sway from side to side and inching your fingertips forward if you want to intensify it even more. So I encourage you to do any of these stretches for as long as you may need to warm up your body before we get into the handstands. A few more breaths here. Bring our hands underneath our shoulders, releasing our feet all the way to the earth, and let's walk our feet to our hands and slowly rolling all the way up. Okay, once you're all warmed up and you've warmed those shoulders up and you feel like you're ready for your first assisted handstand, we're going to go into our frog position. So it is an inversion, so if you have never done this before, please watch one of our other videos or go through this really slowly and watch the video a few times and rewind. So to get into this pose, I'm just going to do it with my back to me so that when I do invert, I'm facing. So bringing the fabric to just above your butt here, not in your waist, it's definitely around your butt. Take a few steps back to put all your weight into the hammock. A few steps forward, so all your weight is in the hammock and you're underneath the ringing point. Bring your legs wide and your hands up at the same time. Legs come around, ankles come into the fabric, and you're releasing down. So this is our inverted frog pose. If you've never done this before, I would encourage you to stay here first and just hang out here before trying to attempt any kind of handstand. So if you do want to get into the handstand, we put our legs up the hammock. So we're kind of just straight up and down, hanging upside down here, and making sure you're really pushing into the fabric with your feet. And as we push up into the hammock, we're going to push our legs out. So we're really putting a lot of pressure into the hammock. We're engaging our abs because this is what will keep us nice and straight. So to push up into the handstand, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, push into the hammock to the sides. You're pushing up, make sure you're underneath the rigging point, pushing up and pushing out with your legs. Eyes gaze between your fingertips, really engaging those legs. So from here, I really encourage you to stay here and make sure that your abs are engaged and you're in a nice long line. If you feel like you're ready, another option is to bring your feet in. But you need to make sure you're ready for that. Hold it here for as long as you can, and then you can release it down. Just let yourself sway. Whew. Nice work. And at any point, remember that you can come out of your inversion. You can also bring your feet down for a little bit of rest before we go back up in. Just hang out here, sway it from side to side. Whew. And again, the the higher your hammock is, the further away your head and your arms will be from the earth, and the less effort it will be for you to push up into the handstand. So if you're higher up already, it's a lot easier to push yourself up, for example. So the lower you are, if you want more of a challenge, make yourself a little bit lower. And then if you find yourself, in that sweet spot, you're in the handstand, you can bring it together, then you can feel what it would be like to hold the handstand without the help of the hammock. Okay, bringing my feet down, hang out here for a moment. And then I'm going to show you what it looks like from the back, making sure that the hammock stays underneath your butt. It doesn't flip over your butt as you push up. So, I'm going to bring my feet up the hammock, and again, push up and push out. So you can see that the hammock is still underneath my butt when we do this. And release it out. Bring your feet down, chin to chest, hands to the hammock, and release. I recommend holding in this half little crouch pose before you come all the way out. Just a really nice spot to hang out and let yourself come to terms with the fact that you're coming out of that big inversion. Come all the way up. Bring the fabric to around the front of your shoulders and release it all the way down into our ragdoll and hanging from side to side. So that was one of our handstand options. I'll show you the other one in a moment. That is the one I would really recommend starting with. And just nail that one before getting into this next one, which is a little bit more complex. So this next handstand is from a downward dog. So where that other handstand stayed underneath your butt, this one, because it starts on your hips, it will move up, but we really need to press out our legs to stop ourselves from completely coming out of that handstand. This one is a lot more abs, a lot more of your upper body and your whole body working. It's less reliant on the hammock. So I really recommend getting better at that first one and then coming to this one. But if you're ready for this one, we're gonna come to a downward dog. I'm gonna face this way first, just so that you can see the whole movement. So coming to our downward dog like we did before, bringing our legs to a straddle and bending behind us. So we're in that same position. We're gonna walk our hands underneath the rigging point and stretching out our legs and making sure we immediately press them out. So you can see that the hammock can move down my body. We're really pushing in with the sides of our legs. And then to come out, bending our knees, pulling it back down. So we make sure that the hammock comes back to that front part of our body. I'm gonna do it again, but from the other side, so you can see where the hammock sits on your body. So coming down to our downward dog like we did before, legs into a straddle, bending the knees around the fabric, walking our hands underneath the rigging point, legs come up and spreads wide, pushing into the side of the hammock, really, really strong. And you can see where the hammock is coming now. And then we bend, so it comes back to where it was. And then we can come back down and slowly roll it all the way back up. So those were our two handstand variations. I recommend that you really warm up before you try them and just work on the first one first and then give the second one a go, but make sure if there is someone around you to help you or some pillows or something like that, if you've never tried that one before, it's a little bit tricky. But yeah, have fun and I'll see you next time.